Hey, Paul, just saw Doom. I love this movie. I love this movie. And I'm gonna change that a little bit. There we go. I love Doom. Doom is like one of my favorite movies. One of my favorite video game movies. I will clarify that this is not a good movie all around, but it's a really good video game movie. Like, it's one of the few good ones. I think the real issue with the Doom movie is obviously it has nothing to do with Doom. Like, they took the whole storyline in Doom and just went whoop, which to a lot of people I think would be a bad movie because it doesn't adhere to the Doom storyline. But to be fair, when I first saw this movie, I saw it when it first came out in theaters, and at the time, I was a poor child. My family was very poor. In fact, when the new movie came out, we had just moved into a house. No, we hadn't just moved into a house. It'd been like 2 or 3 years or so. But my father became an electrician, started making money, started becoming really high up there. And as that happened, we started to get better and better, to the point where I was able to afford things for myself. Video game consoles, stuff like that. I actually had, it's right before I had a job. Yeah. So, I had the Xbox. I had an old broken computer. And the games that I had played up till then were what my father had played. So a lot of RPGs, a lot of fucking strategy games, and a lot of stuff like that. There was only a few games that I ever truly played for myself. And those games were like System Shock 2, which was like my favorite fucking game growing up as a kid. Still one of my favorite games growing up, and I can't wait for System Shock 3 because they got all the same voice actors. I'm freaking stoked for that. XCOM. XCOM was a big. My father hated XCOM. I loved XCOM. I couldn't beat the game, but I loved the XCOM franchise in general. Just XCOM in general. And then later on, UFO, when Sid Meier's couldn't get the rights for XCOM. You had all these really great games. But one of the main ones that I played a lot was Doom. And my father didn't like it, but it was shareware. So you could always find a copy of shareware Doom. And because my parents tried to make sure I didn't play too violent of a game. That makes any sense. They wouldn't let me play like really ultra violent games. Up until like the good part of my childhood, I played pretty much tame games, RPGs, stuff like that. So I never really played the hardcore first-person shooters. In fact, I think one of the very few that I ever played was Quake, and my father was like partial on that, but he was like, it's not humans, so it's fine. Even though Doom is demons, but who cares? I played Doom. I played the shareware version, so I never played past the first thing, the Shores of Hell. I never played past that. I beat it. I never played past it. And then later on down the road, right before the movie came out, I played Doom 3. And I loved Doom 3. Doom 3, I won't say it's my favorite game, only because like the new Doom came out, and of course I've been able to play the older Doom, all the packs for that. And Doom 2, which I never got a chance to play as a kid. I never, ever got a chance to play Doom 2. And I loved Doom 2. So, except for that fucking demon that always killed you, that fucking asshole. Okay, so that was my experience with Doom, though. Was the shareware version of Doom and Doom 3. Okay? And so, when you only play those two, shareware version of Doom has no story. There is no story to fucking speak of. Near the end, you get like a little text blob like how, oh man, you thought you were gonna get off the boat, but oh shit, fucking more demons. And you're like, oh man, more demons. Okay, so you didn't know. And Doom 3, the story on that one is very different from the movie, but essentially, like, all shit breaks loose. Like, some secret experiment breaks out and monsters. So when I watched the movie, I was like, ah, cool, this is awesome. Okay, chromosomes. Okay, so they're not demons. It's like a viral thing, but it still relies on good and evil. So it must be about demons. I put a lot of pieces in, and I think that's why I really enjoyed this movie, because I was able to go, oh, this is not Doom, but it has enough that is Doom. And of course, at the time, I was really big into movies. One of the ones that I just really fallen in love with was Aliens 2. So for me, I was big into the whole Space Marine thing. I'm still big into the Space Marine. Every time I find a movie about Space Marines, I'm thrilled, because there aren't many Space Marine movies out there. Kind of a sad thing that there aren't many Space Marine movies, and this was one of the few good ones. This was a really good Space Marine movie. So, review of the movie. They go to Mars to stop. There's a distress signal called out. Lockdown is called on this base on Mars. An old civilization created a teleportation system that we use now to go between Earth and Mars. I don't even think they say it's the moon of Mars. I think it's literally just Mars. I could be wrong on that, but because I don't remember. I just rewatched the movie. I don't remember if they said they're on Deimos or anything. I think they're just on Mars. And so they get there, and of course it has The Rock and Karl Urban. If you don't know who Karl Urban is, Dredd, McCoy from Star Trek. He was the bad guy in Riddick 2, in the very beginning of Riddick 3. The dude's done a lot. Dude's done a lot, and he's a really cool actor. He's really good. What I knew him from before this movie was only from the Hercules and Venus series. So Cupid and Caesar. So for me, I was like, oh shit, this dude's really cool. He is really cool. He's actually a really cool actor. I always find it amazing when you see a Karl Urban in any movie. It's always that's Karl Urban. Fuck, that dude does not look like what he does in anything else. What the fuck? Did he always have these little fucking things on his forehead, or these? I don't know what is the dude's a shapeshifter. It's weird, but he's awesome and the best Dredd actor. Period. Best Dredd ever. I can't wait for Dredd 2. It's such a good movie. So yeah, they go to Mars. Problems ensue. They clear out the base. It's your run-of-the-mill shoot them up. I think one of the major issues with this movie that I've always said, yeah, it's a problem, is the long stretches of nothing. So the beginning of the movie starts out pretty kick-ass. There's all the, oh my god, we have to evacuate Olduvine, and also Carmack, Dr. Carmack, wonderful reference to John Carmack. So I always appreciated that as a kid. I did. I appreciate that. It's yeah, John Carmack. Yeah. There's several references in this game to the games. But I think that's part of the problem. Is there's so many of these references where you're these people really kind of truly do like Doom, but they don't like Doom enough to keep to the story. You could have done the story for the Doom Bible. That's really good. It's not the greatest, but it's definitely wow, you could make a movie out of that. And they kind of disregarded it. That's always kind of a big issue. But I love the movie. I love The Rock. I will say this. I think the strongest thing for this movie is the cast. The cast is the strongest thing about this movie. I love the cast. Everyone in the movie I don't hate. There is not a single actor that I hate. Even Portman, who is the... How do you put it? Oh, what would be the best way to describe Portman? He's Sally. I mean, quite literally, Sally. Except he's more open about his sexuality. I really hope... I never know what Sally was into. But I always assumed that Sally was into anything. It would be what Portman was into. He has drugs on hand. He's fucking smart ass. Disobeys direct orders. Talking about some really sick shit all the time. Basically, he's probably the guy who was sat around in his barracks room naked for his other person, the roommate, to walk in on. awesomeness like that. So yeah, I always like Portman for that reason, because I truly could go, I fucking know what that's like. I hate this dude, and I love how bad he is. Then you got you got Goat. He's like the preacher of the group. He's the ultra religious guy, which would have been really great if this were a demon story to have the ultra religious guy, but he's not. So you know, but I like his character. I like the Destroyer, the big guy with the chain gun. I loved him, especially now that you've seen the movie. You can understand the reference. It's a monkey. So that was always fun. Let's see. You got the kid. I liked him because like he's enjoyable enough that you're like, okay, cool. Mac, you hardly ever fucking see in the movie, so it doesn't really fucking matter if you like him or not, because he has one speaking line, and it's saying his name. That's it. You got Duke. Duke was definitely definitely fun to watch in this movie. I don't know if I'd call him a good character, but he was fun. The Rock. The Rock is fucking awesome. Like fucking, oh. That's when he was still going by The Rock. Because for those who don't know, if you're young enough, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, or Dwayne Johnson now, just straight up Dwayne Johnson, but Dwayne The Rock Johnson, when he first started out his movie career, he was The Rock. That was it. You didn't fucking see anything else. And then as years went by, he went Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And this went on, and then all of a sudden he just went Dwayne Johnson. No more The Rock, and that's fine. I get it. You know, he's an actor now. You know, like legitimate actor. So you don't go by your wrestling pseudonym. But yeah, The Rock is a fantastic actor in this film. I love The Rock, and of course Karl Urban, who plays Reaper, and he hits it out of the park. His sister, kind of like her, kind of don't. Every once in a while, she kind of annoys the fuck out of me, but overall, I like her. Yeah, this movie's fun. I don't know what else to say. Like, I think the only way to enjoy this movie is if you kind of remove the whole Doom thing. Really, honestly, I think that's the only way you can enjoy this movie. If you're not into like the bad movies too much, but you want to have a good time, just remove Doom from your mind. There's a few references here and there. Just in your mind, whenever you see them, just think, oh, they're references to the Doom game, because that's where they took inspiration from. Cool. We should make a Doom movie. That would be awesome. Just do it that way. That's the way I do it nowadays. Like when I watch it, because there's hardly anything Doom about it. And in my head, I've always, like, even when I was a kid, I was like, I tried to piece together that it was a Doom thing, but after a while, you're just kind of like, it's not Doom. This isn't Doom. Doom is very different, but this is fun. So I could see where they like got inspiration to make this. Yeah, it's cool. Although I will say, there's a scene where Portman and the kid are walking through the sewers, and you know the kid's like freaked out. He's asking Portman, he's like, "Hey, you got any?" And Portman obviously has fucking drugs on him. Not sure what kind of drugs. They looked like the lime green Skittles. And as a kid, I always wondered, like, what those were. Like obviously they're not candy. Right? I know that. But I mean, like, it was like, are these reference to like the power-ups or health packs? What the fuck are these? What the fuck are they? Because they're just drugs. That's it. They're drugs. Later on, he's like, "Are you high?" So you better knock this shit off. You know, it's like, but they never reference what the drug is. It always makes me go, "What is it?" It's weird, but I don't know much about drugs. I'm a clean person, so who knows? But I liked it a lot. It's fun. The humor is pretty good in it. The action, when there is action, is really good in it. I guess I would like to have seen like the final fight in this movie with guns, That was kind of a disappointment, but overall, I like the twist. That was honestly my favorite part of this whole movie, where The Rock, spoilers, if you care, where The Rock is the bad guy, like at the end of the movie, like the whole time you're like he's the hero, and then he goes slowly insane. You're like, oh, okay, and then he turns into a demon, or whatever these things are, and you're like, oh, he's the bad guy. Oh! And that was actually pretty fun. I liked that. It was and then of course you got the whole first person scene. Like, I think anyone who got fooled into seeing the movie was because of that first person scene in the trailers. Because every one of us was like, oh, that's so cool! Because we hadn't seen that before. And we haven't seen that since, what was that? Dangerous... It's that first person movie made by Nerdist. Dangerous... I can't think of it. You know what I'm talking about, though, right? First person movie. Like, a bunch of stunts, all that good shit. Yeah, like, that's what we wanted Doom to be, was that movie. But what we got was this movie. But I like it. I like it a lot. It's fun. It's energetic. I like the cast. I don't, that's always the problem with, like, the Space Marine movie ensemble, is that you have to like the cast. You have to like them. Because if you don't like them, what do you fucking care? I think the one thing that really does ruin this movie is they don't feel like badasses. If that makes any sense. They don't feel like badass the badass. Like Aliens, everyone there, you're like, they're the best of the best. You have that feeling that they're the best of the best. The way they talk, the way they do things, the way they move, that was really good. This movie, they don't really do that, so kind of an issue there, but overall, good movie. I like it. I enjoy it. I watch it. I own it. I will say the unrated version is probably better. From what I remember, there's more blood and gore when there is blood and gore in the unrated version. The Rock says big fucking gun instead of big force gun. And I think there's some extended stuff. Nudity, for one. There's some nudity in this movie. If you like that kind of thing, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, good movie. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to see how you felt about it. I've been texting you the whole time, and you're like, I'm taking notes. I'm like, oh shit, you're turning the tables on me this time. So I didn't take notes. I sat back and I watched the movie. In fact, I've seen this movie so many times I didn't really need to rewatch it, but I was like, I'm going to rewatch it just because I love this movie. I'm trying to think if there's anything that upset me, and I'm honestly like, I can't think of anything that upset me. Everything's pretty fun. There's really good elements in this movie. I think if they could have just made it more action packed. That was the thing about Alien. Aliens had this moment too where it's like, it's slow. Because they're looking for the aliens, they're looking for the colonists, they're looking for this, they're looking for that. And so while they're looking for this, there's that whole, like, because you know about the aliens, you're like, oh, the aliens, oh, they're bad. They're sneaky. So when they're sneaking around, you're like, oh. And then, but aliens knew that once they were done with that, they had to go full on action. They couldn't just skip out. This movie doesn't understand that concept very well. The last 10 minutes of this movie is the most action-packed, and even then, it's not really all that great. So, it's a good movie. Got problems, but I love it. So, talk to you later. Deuces.